Welcome everybody to the NCL November Coaches Call. Thanks for joining us. If you don't know me, I am David Zajcik. I am the commissioner of the NCL. So we got a pretty good agenda, I think, for today. Here is the overview. We are going to talk about spring. Since fall just ended, we do want to tell you about what to expect for the next season. So the spring season coming up very soon. A little bit more about the research paper contest, our CrowdStrike mentorship program waitlist, reflecting and sharing on the decision-making behind the NCL's current policy on AI usage in the competition. And that bullet point leads us right into what we're going to talk about for our coaches conversation. So we're going to try and go through some of this first part pretty quick because we do want to save a good amount of this call to have a conversation about what everybody's talking about, which is AI and generative AI impact on learning. And for our case for today, competitions. We want to know how have tools such as ChatGPT impacted your ability to maintain the integrity of your assignments and tests? What policies do you or your school have? How have you implemented them regarding the usage of AI? And how do you see the use of AI impacting the learning process? So if you're like me, these conversations have come up quite a bit already on my campus and in many, many different forums that I'm a part of. A lot of people are talking about this. So that'd be a great conversation to have. One more little bit of agenda item that's not listed here is the NIST NICE K-12 conference is coming up again. It's coming up next month, December 4th and 5th in Phoenix, Arizona. And I just wanted to take a quick poll to see if anybody on the call is going to make it to that. If you are, either raise your hand, say something, put something in chat. Is anybody going to the K-12, the NICE K-12 conference in Phoenix next month, December 4th and 5th? That's a no. I see a no. Oh, cool. I see we are. Oh, hey, okay, great. Thank you, Franz. It looks like he actually posted a poll. So that would be good to know. But I'd also like to see your name in the chat as well, just so we know who to expect to come. All right, so I see. Oh, great, John. Thank you. And Mariah. Oh, your students are presenting. Awesome. That is great. I will definitely want to attend that session. And thank you for the link. All right, so it looks at least like 2 people I see so far. So for those 2 that are going, Mariah and John, we are going to have, like we did last year, we had an NCL dinner. So on Monday night, right after the mixer, the NCL is going to host a dinner for, hopefully you 2 can make it, and any other people that we run into at the NIST NICE conference. We want to get together and chat, since NCL is, as we all know, virtual. Whenever we get the option to actually see each other in person and make a connection, I think is important to do. So what we've been doing is hosting these get-togethers. I think this will be our 3rd one now. So looking forward to seeing you 2 at NIST NICE. We will have more information for you 2 exactly when and where, but again, it's going to be Monday at 7 p.m. right after the mixer. So if anybody on this call is going to a future conference, and hopefully if we're there too, I would like to continue this tradition, trying to get together face-to-face and have a chat. So good. All right. Looks like we can end the poll. We got our 2. Thank you, Franz. All right. So again, there's a picture of me. I'm David. I'd like to also introduce Franz, our CEO of Cyber Skyline. There's Franz's wave. And Emily, go ahead and say something. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Cool. Okay, so this is our group. And also on the call, I do want to mention we do have several other NCL board members. At least I see at least one here. Costas is here. And we have several people from the Cyber Skyline team as well. I see Connor and Max. At least that's who I see on my screen at the moment. I don't know if Toby might have joined us as well, but a few people from the Cyber Skyline team as well. So welcome everybody to the call. All right, so like I said, it is now time to announce our spring season dates. As you can see, only 2 months away is our regular registration. So I know it feels like we just finished, but this is a every spring and fall event. So starting January 29th of 2024, you can sign up and register for the season. And as everybody knows, once you register, that will immediately get you into the gym. So you're getting into the gym, and you can see the gym will close on May 24th. So that gives you several months of gym access. You can see late registration is March 23rd through 26th. Practice game, March 25th through the 31st. Individual game, April 5th through 7th. And finally, the team game, April 19th through 21st. So I like to obviously write that down on my calendar now, just so that, oh, and I do see a message from Peter. So we have a little collision with CCDC. That's not great. Now, I know we did that again this year as well, but I think that was for not the actual competition, but for some of the preliminaries. Is that correct?
In this case, the individual game dates that you have there on your screen share right now collide with the regional final for CCDC.
Oh boy. Okay.
But one of them, right? Because the regionals might be a different. Each regional has their own time and date.
I am unsure.
Okay. That is definitely.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and it's they're different for each region. It's tricky in the spring because you have the Easter, then spring breaks. But it looks like most regionals are using different dates.
For sure, and much sympathy. I understand and sympathize with the pain and logistics, especially when they're doing things all at the same time.
Yeah, especially when CCDC is covering several different weekends. It's hard to fit something in there. But yeah, I understand. We do, and that's kind of the good and bad right now, right? Is we've got so many cybersecurity competitions that it's just going to be hard to make sure that we're not colliding and overlapping with other competitions. But yeah, when all possible, I know that Franz spends a good amount of time with his team trying to come up with the dates that are open. Okay. So another thing to mention is the NCL Research Paper Contest. This is still open, and it's going to be open and through January 30th. So you do still have a couple more months to go. The idea behind this is we are opening this up for submissions from researchers, academics, and students, both from the US and Canada. What we want to do is we want to promote research and provide a platform exchanging ideas about cybersecurity competitions. So we do encourage interdisciplinary research, and we are welcoming papers from all subject areas. And of course, those subject areas, once you do have that paper, we are focusing on competitions and cybersecurity in terms of cybersecurity competitions, the NCL in particular. We do have money associated with some of the winners here. So first place gets $600, second $250, and third $150. If you scan that QR code, you can get to the place to submit your paper. And I think I'll also put you, Franz, on the spot to maybe put a link in the chat as well. So if you already have a paper done, great. You can actually submit it now. We are taking submissions, but again, submissions don't close until the end of January. Okay, I don't see any more questions on that, so let's move on. Oh, and thanks for putting the link in chat, Franz.
Yeah, of course. And next on up is the NCL CrowdStrike Mentorship Program. So we are reopening the waitlist for this program. So for those of you who are not familiar with this, this is a program that we have with CrowdStrike, one of the sponsors of NCL. And there are 2 sessions remaining for the mentorship program for this cohort, one in January and one in February. And students who are part of the program, they get a $250 kind of scholarship provided at the end of the program. They get to have a one-on-one session with a mentor from CrowdStrike and get some career advice and get some feedback on how can they best prepare themselves to enter the industry. So this is a great opportunity for students. They get mentorship and they get paid. So it's a great deal. And for CrowdStrike, they are having this program open to students at HBCUs or MSIs. Those are minority serving institutions. And then the only other requirement is that the student must be a sophomore, junior, or a senior. And the applications are going to be done on a first come, first served basis. So if you have students who you think might be able to benefit, we've got a QR code there, and I'll try to grab that. Or actually, I'll ask Emily if she can pull that up because I'm running the slides. If you could post a link for that QR code in the chat. But yeah, please share it with your students. We're looking for a handful of students to join the list. All right. And then this is kind of our lead up into the discussion topic for today. So looking at NCL's current policy on the usage of AI and tools such as ChatGPT within the competition. So this is something that we added in recently. I believe it was added into the rules formally in the spring of this past year to disallow the tools, the use of AI tools such as ChatGPT within the competition. And I know that there was previous discussion from coaches kind of trying to understand the rationale behind that and kind of the full stance of the usage of AI and ChatGPT within NCL. And so the reasoning behind the decision making was primarily because we believe that the usage of a lot of AI tools can inhibit the learning process for 2 primary reasons. One is just that the students can oftentimes get a reduced understanding. So similar to how homework help, websites where students can just post their homework online or the questions online, that kind of bypasses the learning process. They might be using tools like ChatGPT just to get to the answer without actually learning the concepts. And this is also the same reason why we don't allow for any of the answers to be posted within NCL. Although when we do our post-game debriefs, we allow discussions of how do you solve the questions. We don't allow the posting of those answers, specifically because we want to make sure that the students are actually learning. Because sometimes they just can get tunnel vision. It's like, hey, this is the answer, let me go submit it, and I'm done. I move on to the next thing, and they don't benefit from that learning experience if that's the case. The second reason is increased confusion, because the introduction of AI tools adds another thing that can go wrong in the learning process, because normally there's just a complexity of when I get an incorrect answer, it's because I didn't understand properly. And so now they need to go and figure out what is it that they misunderstood. When AI gets added into this, there's now this extra question of, did I make a mistake or did the AI make a mistake? And now I'm spending my time and attention trying to diagnose this and figure this out. And that's splitting the attention in terms of in what would have normally just been fully spent on learning the concepts. And so that we believe can hinder the learning process. And so I also wanted to mention that, we don't believe there's anything fundamentally wrong with using the AI. In fact, it seems clear that the use of AI will only play a larger role within the workplace into the future. really the question to us is not necessarily like, making this a rule to maintain necessarily the it's not like a cheating thing. It's more of just like the purpose of NCL is to help students learn. And so by allowing the use of this AI tool, are we inhibiting that purpose? And so we pose the question, how do we maximize learning with the presence of these tools? And I'll give the example here of the fact that students are still taught math by first solving problems by hand before they're given a calculator. And so the first thing that happens is they learn the concepts before they're able to use the tool that helps them skip some of those steps. And because so many people coming into NCL are getting into cybersecurity very early on into their cybersecurity education, a lot of those students are in that place where they still haven't learned the basic math yet. And so we're kind of seeing it as, well, are we giving them the calculator at the very beginning, or and is that preventing them from actually learning these concepts? And so this is an open question. We're very much open to the feedback from the community as we kind of to help us guide our decision making on the policy here. But we just wanted to give an explanation as to our rationale, and hopefully have this be kind of like what leads into a further discussion, which we'll do right after this, in terms of getting everyone else's thoughts and help us kind of help influence our decision making in how we're viewing this policy, because this is not something that we have very much set in stone. This is something I think where everyone in all aspects of society, they're evaluating the policies, and there's definitely a need to be fluid with this and be adaptable to the reality and to the feedback of others. So I hope that was helpful. I'll check to see if there's any questions that I can answer. But then after any initial questions, I'm going to hand it back over to David so we can kick off kind of the breakout rooms and the deeper discussion. Okay, I see a question from Kaylin, wanting the number of participants in individual and team competitions. Yeah, we will publish those, and I'll make sure that you get that information. It's just don't have it with me at this exact moment. And Costas is asking, is the policy written somewhere? So the policy is within the NCL rules of conduct, and I can actually point out where it is within the rules of conduct. Oh.
Yeah, and as you pull that up, I think we did have close to 10,000 individual participants. And I think they just still need to figure out the number of teams.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Thanks, Franz.
Yep. And then, yeah, so for the rules of conduct, it's within the individual game conduct section, where it says, trying to find it. Okay. You must do, players participating in the NCL individual game must do so without assistance from anyone, including other players, coaches, and artificial intelligence from the start of the game to the end of the game. And the team game is, the exact same as the individual game, with the exception that you're allowed to communicate with people within your team. So that's the location within the rules of conduct. All right. Doesn't look like there are any other questions about that. So I'm going to pass it back to you, David, and we can get started with our breakout rooms.
Okay, great. So yeah, as I mentioned at the top of the call during the agenda, we do want to spend a good amount of time having you guys talk to each other, learn from each other, and then from us learn from you. So what we're going to do is what we've been normally doing on these calls is create several different breakout rooms. And then what we want to do is have you join a breakout room to discuss this in small groups. We found that, you probably did too, discussions happen a lot better and more fluid when they're small groups instead of this large 20-some people group. So what we're going to do is create those discussion rooms. And I can already see some people are dropping off the call if they don't want to participate. That is totally fine. So we are now transitioning to the second part of the meeting, and we really do value your input here. So if at all possible, if you can stay on the call, please do, so that we can have more discussion. All right, and as John already put in the chat, we are looking for some room leaders, and it looks like John's one of them. Emily, how many room leaders are you thinking we need here?
I think we need at least 3. It's probably a good number.
Great.
Angela, we could use you. Thank you. And I have you, John. And remember, we're trying to bribe you with Starbucks gift cards. So you do get a little something for your time.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Those are for your wife, John. They're not for
Yeah,
you, remember?
I know. No one. I'm a terrible liar.
No, that's great. If we could get one more, that would be super. If not, that's okay. We're going to go ahead and start rocking and rolling so we give enough time for conversation. And then I might have David or Fonz be tribute to lead a room if necessary.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So here are the specific topics for kind of the bullet points for that main topic. This is what we're hoping that you'll take some time to discuss. So specifically, again, how have tools such as ChatGPT impacted your ability to maintain the integrity of your assignments and tests? What policies do you or your school have implemented regarding the usage of AI? How do you see AI impacting the learning process? And then finally, how do educators responsibly teach students about AI hallucinations and factual inaccuracies? All right. So what we want to do now is just kind of compare notes across groups. Angela, since you are our room leader, do you want to do a summary of what we talked about?
Sure. So in summary, we're kind of have a little bit of a mixed experience with AI in the classroom. Some of us are encouraging the use of it as only a tool or just for use of reference. But also using it for like if an assignment has the possibility of being used with ChatGPT, make those assignments low points, and then also have the option of either doing in-class or paper exams to avoid plugging them into ChatGPT, but also getting students to understand the how and why behind the learning and problem solving, whereas in the workforce they're going to maybe be have that efficiency of using AI in the workplace will be different and more appropriate versus being a student where we're supposed to be learning and just not rushing to get an answer. And we as educators have also used AI for our own work performance type of tasks, and it has been beneficial as well, but definitely is challenging for the students.
Right. And kind of two more things. We were talking about using it as a calculator, but we have to trust its output like we trust the output of a calculator to be accurate. And that brought up one other interesting note that our team might want to know is there was a rumor out there that the NCL team was feeding a chatbot incorrect answers based upon an NCL question just to see what would happen. So it was out there as a rumor in the player community.
That way that we were feeding like basically seeding the AI to give the incorrect answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
So one of my students came up to me and said that he had read on some forum online that ChatGPT was if you put in one of the questions into ChatGPT on the NCL, it would actually give you a false flag, and it was done that in order to catch the cheaters. And he was asking me if there was any truth to that, and I'm like, I don't know, but it's if so, that's pretty genius.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I could say that we haven't done that, but we also we have looked at some of the common incorrect answers that people submit, and goes back to the AI hallucination thing. ChatGPT will feel 100% convinced it gives you the right answer, and then for some reason we see a lot of people who have the exact same incorrect answer, which is nonsensical. So we don't need to feed the wrong answers to ChatGPT. ChatGPT can give it the wrong answers itself, and then we can kind of see who's making those submissions.
That's fair. All right, John, let me hand it over to you.
Well, first I need to say thank you to Franz for being really earning the gift certificate, which Emily has already sent to me, because I was having technology failure. So is our list up here? It is. So sorry, I'm having like all kinds of technology problems today. All right, so in our group, we had 2 instructors, as well as, I guess, Franz, who said he was an engineer for Cyber Skyline. So he talked about way back when he was in school 3 years ago. So let's see, going through the notes. I personally I'm not overly concerned about AI, except I told my students they could use it in an assignment. I just wanted them to tell me that they did it. And one of my students created a deep fake of me giving a presentation on some cybersecurity vulnerability. And it took me a few minutes of listening to it to realize it's a deep fake, because I'm like, when did I give this presentation? So that's a little scary. There's another thing to be added to the syllabus. Don't record your instructor. Don't create a deep fake. I know that the school is developing a policy. I have not received any feedback on it, so I'm trying to find out about that. So right now, it's similar to what one of the other instructors shared, which is instructors are on their own to figure it out. And then we talked about how do we that line between wanting students to use it because it's a tool they need to know and we don't want them to be fearful of it, and how do we get them to use it responsibly. Like I said, I could absolutely understand teachers in humanities doing Shakespeare, read Othello and write an essay on it, right? Total, I would be there using ChatGPT, right? But for my network fundamentals, they still need to do packet tracer and they need to figure all that out. So that's why I'm not as concerned. Then I'm sorry, I'm going to say your name wrong because I don't have it in my brain, but I think Callan, he actually, incorporated, teaches AI into there. I love that they had 3 types of policies. If you could scroll down a little for me, please, Franz. But I love the menu choice. Either it's completely forbidden, it's allowed with restrictions, or completely open, completely closed, kind of like firewall rules, or then you have some fidelity where you say some restrictions. And some of the things I heard mentioned were include your prompts and the responses. Right? So you could see someone write the document and they have an appendix. Here's my research. Kind of like, I guess the question is, how do you footnote AI, right? I think that's what we're talking about. How do you say, I got this information from AI? And then, it's an advanced form of Googling and Stack Overflow. And I love the line, I believe, that he had said about Grammarly didn't change the way we write, right? It just, you could use it, become better writers, but in the end, you still have to create something that goes into there. And even if you do make it against the rules, how are you going to enforce it? What, is it, and how are you going to prove that they used it? So that's really some of the big challenges. And Terry talked about, again, trying to learn how to use it and incorporate it into the classroom. Her example, rather than having the students write the business plan, they have the students generate the business plan through AI and then go implement that plan. So that's an interesting way of doing it and finding out when AI does and does not have it right. Again, it's up to the instructors to do it. I think we're still in that wild west of schools. As I said, technology is always ahead of policy, right? We all know that. And then Connor was, and Connor, I'm not trying to pick on you if you're still there, but he said, well, that wasn't this AI wasn't around when I was at school 3 years ago. We all chuckled at that. but that's the point. It's so new, right? Someone who's just out of school a couple of years is already like, well, this wasn't around. How are we going to do this? And then I think also one of the instructors discussed, how rampant uh, cheating was during COVID when everything was online. And I'll close with, this wasn't really an AI thing, but I talk about my forensics class. I talk about a ship that capsized, and they determined how it capsized by recovering the computers and going through everything that went wrong. And I asked my students what was the name of that ship on a quiz. 3 students who I know were all collaborating said the name of the ship was Titanic, which it was not. So I think that was because Franz was talking about like how many wrong answers were coming in that were the same in the NCL challenge, right? So you know that someone's going to the same well for that. So that's our stuff. I'll turn it back to you.
Cool, thanks. So one thing too, I just was thinking about to mention, Angela, if you wanted to talk a little more about this point here. Did I get the name right? Raymond James?
Yeah. Yeah, so a couple of months ago, Raymond James Financial, which is headquartered, down here in the Tampa Bay area, had a CTF. And in the presentation leading up to the CTF, where there was 14 schools or something, UCF, UF, FSU, John Hopkins, Purdue, just to name a few. They were giving us a presentation on AI and how Raymond James uses AI in the workplace, and not just the workplace with financial stuff that they do, but from their cyber threat intelligence and there's the whole cyber team also. And they basically said that if you don't know how, because they're all talking to university students, they're like, if you can't use or know how to use AI, then what good are you to us? Because we need students coming into these jobs understanding how AI works, what it can do, because it's being used against us, and we need to use it in order to remain secure and all this other stuff. And so they then we started the CTF, and they actually encouraged all of the students to use whatever AI tools they wanted to in order to complete the CTF. And even with all the AI in the world, it was not enough to complete the CTF. And it was actually really eye-opening just to see how that all played out.
Hey, David, can I get a really quick go back?
Yeah.
So to follow up on what you said, one of my favorite quotes on AI is, "You will not lose your job to AI. You will lose your job to someone who knows how to use AI." Right? I think that encapsulates what they were saying. Yeah, we need people to know how to use it. And darn it, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, I talked about in my group that I had a demo of, it's called Aria, and I put the links to Franz, so maybe Franz, you could throw those into the notes. And it is a AI product to help with interviews. So a student can pay to get 5 sessions where Aria interviews you and then gives you feedback right away on your responses to questions. And then supposedly they are saying that they are going to offer to employers to do initial screening. So when you think about that, someone submits their resume to LinkedIn or Dice or whatever, and never hears back, the concept would be you would do an initial interview with AI, and then there would be some decision where it would say not just no, but here's where we think that you're not meeting our criteria. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and Angela mentioned that her students get it for free.
Yeah, our career services purchased a license, and all of the students have that within their Workday app. And at any time there's a job posting, say for a SOC analyst or whatever, they can the way, I haven't tried it yet, I've been meaning to, but basically you take the job application that you want to apply for a SOC analyst, you take that job posting, feed it into Ari, and then the tool will then interview you based upon that job description and your resume or something, and then it will tell you where you need to improve.
Angela, can I reach out to you on that? Because that is fascinating.
Absolutely.
Would you mind putting your contact in chat?
Oh, sure.
Thank you so much. I love it when people collaborate.
Hey, that's what these breakout rooms are all about. So good segue into ending the meeting. I think this was a great discussion. We will go through these notes and summarize them and send them out as a summary from the call. Couple more notes is that we will not be having a call next month, so no December call, but we will resume the calls in January. Another note too is to expect in the email summary from today's meeting, we are going to be sending out another poll, and this poll is to help us determine when is the best time for us to all meet during the spring semester, because we know people's schedules could change from semester to semester, and we want to pick the best time that is right for all of you. So please do fill that out when you get it. Other than that, thank you everybody for hanging out with us here at the very end and going through this discussion. I thought it was very interesting. I learned quite a bit as well. So thank you.
Have a wonderful holiday, everyone. Holidays.
Thank
We
you.
will
Bye.
see you all
Thank you.
in a couple months.